I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
हो गया
I'm Batman.
Hey,
Hey guys.
welcome to our new segment, The Deep Dive, where we take a closer look on trailers and movies. And as mentioned in our previous video, if you haven't seen yet, we might have attached a link to it somewhere around here. Today we are going to do The Batman. What's amazing about this is that only 25% of the movie has been shot, but there's already so much in the trailer that people are still finding new things every day. Like, for example, the first riddle that is shown over here is already solved.
What? It is.
Yes, and also, spoiler alert, we might get some things right in our assessment. Hopefully, we get some things, or else, why are we doing this at all? So again, as the rest of the DC Fandom movies, this is slated for a 2021 release, but I highly doubt that because Robert Pattinson just got corona. So I hope he gets well soon, and hope they resume shooting as soon as possible. So let's get into the trailer, shall we?
So it starts with the sound of duct tape, and the logo's just like mildly shaking as the tape does when you like pull it out. So within the first few seconds, the entire vibe set.
And that is
That it's a heavy psychological thriller with Batman in it.
yes. Overall, it seems like a dense world. Like we get what I think is our first look of the Riddler, and they have definitely serious him up a lot.
Gone are the Jim Carrey goofy days of the Riddler.
It would seem so. I was not that disappointed with his take, but obviously this seems much more like a grounded version of him. Maybe they're going for something like the Hush version of him over here.
Also, the dead body.
Yeah, the dead body seems to be the mayor. I mean, that's just my assumption, but where the newspapers in the next scene that we see in the trailer only, it shows this some headlines about the mayor and stuff like that, and usually the mayor tend to die in all of Batman movies. I don't know why the mayor is the target everywhere.
I guess you just don't want to be, the Gotham City's mayor.
I don't think you'd like to be the mayor of any city. I don't know, like what is the job of a mayor?
I have no clue.
Anyways, moving on, we see Batman getting to what seems to be the same crime scene, and all the cops are just somewhat doubting or not very happy with him just being there.
Which would fit in because this is more like the beginning part of his career. Like, I think until this point, only Jim Gordon is somewhat trusting him.
Maybe he's just brought him in because the Riddler has left a note directly addressing him, like directly to the Batman. Next, we see again the crime scene, and the victim has a bag over his hand, and I think that Riddler took a ring from his hand.
Why the ring?
The very next explains it for me at least. So on the card cover, you see an owl with a skeleton behind it, saying the word "whoop"
Let's play a game. Just me and you.
Why are you saying it like that?
Isn't that like a owl voice, like "woo, woo, woo"?
Yeah.
So that seems like an obvious reference to the Court of Owls. For those of you who don't know, the Court of Owls are like a secret society, like the Illuminati, who have been controlling Gotham since a long time. And the Court of Owls being part of the Gotham Knights game, which we'll be making a video on soon, I think DC is integrating them into the mainstream, and I'm definitely happy because it's a great plot point, and I mean, the Court of Owls comic is practically a modern classic at this point, and I'll try to tell you more about the Court of Owls after this trailer breakdown.
Next, we get to the riddle, which you say people have solved already.
Let's play a
Yeah,
game.
people have
Just
already
me and you.
solved the second riddle, which hasn't even been
Me
shown.
and this meeting
How is
anything
that
with
even
you.
possible?
The Batman fans, wow, they can do anything.
Acceptable. So yes, do tell, what is it?
So again, spoiler warning, but if you read it, it's simply the riddle is, so what does a liar do even when dead? And then we see some zodiac style symbols on the bottom. What the people did is they just put aside all the repeating symbols and fit in the words accordingly. Like they were just trying what words fit in with this repeating sequence. So solution here is he lies still.
Ooh, like a double entendre. It means he's dead and he's lying still.
Yeah, like yeah, he's dead. He's also lying still, like lying and lying, like lying, lying.
Let's play a game. Just me and you.
And now we get
Name
our
is
first
anything
glimpse of the
to you.
Batsuit and essentially Robert Pattinson as Batman. Thoughts?
Definitely not the fancy suits we're used to seeing in the other movies, but that's because he's still raw.
Yes, it's like the year two of Batman. That's what they keep saying. So the suit is more still like a homemade version. But what about Robert Pattinson as Batman?
Not completely on board, but again, it's because of his sparkly past. And yes, I know he's moved on from it and has done excellent roles, but I'm still a bit on the fence.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him. I think he is the raw Pattinson. Also, the emblem is maybe gun parts because surely later in the trailer, a bullet bounces off it. And speculation is that it might be the same gun that killed his parents. Joe Chill uses that gun, something like that. But the suit has grown on me. I like the suit. It is kind of growing on me now. In the next shot here, we see who probably is like the current commissioner of the GCPD. Maybe to address the death of the mayor and the serial killer on the loose. And right after that, we hear Andy Serkis's Alfred for the first time. Again, an interesting choice.
I think it's like a safe choice because this is like the younger Batman, and he can give off that ex MI6 vibe, and we can get a little more of the Alfred action too.
Well, I certainly hope so. I've always been a fan of the badass Alfred. Also, we get the first view of Batcave, which looks more like a closed subway terminal, I guess.
Maybe it's like a temporary setup.
Moving on, we get mostly what I think is a shot of the funeral of the mayor and our second riddle. What I didn't notice in the first go that the hostage that is actually Peter Sarsgaard, who's playing the DA of Gotham, not Harvey Dent, some other DA. Again, this is a high profile target, which means Riddler has some serious plans over here, and maybe he has a coat of owls collection. I'll talk more about that later.
Then we get a glimpse of Zoe Kravitz as the new Catwoman.
Again, early days, so I don't think not the proper Catwoman, but a regular cat burglar. Again, I think this is the same scene that continues ahead where she like fights Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this I had to see multiple times, but yes, that is Colin Farrell as the Penguin, who according to Matt Reeves doesn't yet like to be called the Penguin. Maybe he's still climbing in the crime families, as we know the Maronis and the Falconis are still out there.
He does look completely unrecognizable though. I mean, I feel it's more like the prosthetics and the makeup, but yeah, this version definitely looks nice. And I guess a little inspired from the Arkham games as well, right?
Yes. So what's interesting about this scene is that mostly this is set after the blast that we see at the funeral, where Batman gets thrown back and maybe he's taken from there to the GCPD directly, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And like you can see the stretcher in the background, and maybe the cops are now more skeptical of the Batman.
Yeah, but it's good that they didn't try to take off his mask. Like, that's
Maybe
nice.
they did.
Or maybe he had like that electric shock as he has in the comics. Like maybe that's why no one took it out. Now to the scene that sold me on this Batman.
The hell are you supposed to be? I'm vengeance.
I am vengeance. Okay, that was more a villainous voice. I am vengeance. That was more like a Christian Bale voice. That's nice. That scene, obviously, very beautiful, fixed angle action. Obviously, he hit the guy a bit too much. But again, that's what the Batman is. He's young, he's more of a brute, and overall, a bit more off the rails. Plus, he needs to put fear in his enemies, and I guess he's just doing fine.
Speaking of which, who do you think these guys are? Like, speculations are that they might be a part of the Joker gang.
I think it's more like a mutant situation from the Dark Knight Returns comic, which almost all of the Batman movies are inspired of. But I hope it's not the Joker. I mean, haven't we had enough Jokers in like some time? Like in the past few years, only we had so many Jokers.
Yeah, we've completely jokered up.
Yeah, so I hope they use the other villains. Like Batman has one of the most expansive rogues gallery. It's not difficult to make a good story without the Joker. The Batmobile.
I like it.
Yeah, again, it has this randomly modified car look, and it actually looks like a mix of the 1966 version and the 1989 version.
And in any case, it looks really cool. And again, perfect for this rendition.
This guy's crazy.
Then a shot of Batman grappling in the stairwell away from the cops. Maybe this is how he gets out of the GCPD after he gets captured. Then we get a shot of the new logo, which again looks good. And next, the scene which we have never, ever seen in a live action Batman universe.
Batman with his eye makeup?
Batman with his eye makeup. Clearly, this shout that this is the most realistic take on the Batman that we're ever going to get.
But like the emo hairstyle, and it just reminds me of Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man 3.
Not going to lie, it maybe he gets a better haircut later. I hope that he does. I don't know.
I hope he does.
Okay, so most important part of this, and I wanted to talk about it, is the clip, the dialogue at the very end.
How am I part of this? You'll see.
So Matt Reeves said that the Batman in this movie is still figuring out the history of corruption, like in Gotham and all the power play, the crime families, and how his family fits into all of that, which, as I mentioned a couple of times, Court of Owls. So at first I thought maybe the Riddler is working for the Court of Owls, like the Scarecrow in Batman Begins, but now I think maybe he's trying to expose them, more like a anti-hero type. And the way Bruce plays into this is maybe his family was part of this, like both the Wayne family and the Court of Owls have been in Gotham ever since Gotham existed. Other comics that Matt Reeves says that the movie's inspired from is Batman Ego, which again I haven't read, but it's mostly how Bruce comes to term with different parts of his Batman persona. And The Long Halloween, which is visible because this mystery is kind of going to play over a long time, and it's like each villain has a certain part to play. Speaking of which, this looks more like a comic accurate world, right?
Yes, it does feel like a world that creates a need for someone like Batman.
Like rest of the movies, especially the Nolan one, yes, being Batman did help him a few times, but mostly replace him with any other character. The story would still be watchable because what Nolan does is he creates more of a world around him closer to reality. And I do like that approach. But I clearly think that this one is going to be a lot more comic accurate.
Anyways, those were our 2 cents on the Batman movie. And let us know in the comments, do you agree with us? Was there something we missed? What about Pattinson as Batman? And be sure to subscribe to our channel as we are trying to cover most of DC fandom event.
Yeah. And don't forget to like. I always ask for likes, but I don't get any. Smash the like button as hard as Batman hits that thug because that's what keeps us going. For now, bye bye.